There are a lot of games that haven't gotten the spotlight they deserve. Some of these games were my favorites during childhood, and I want to talk about 3 different games that you may not have heard of, but I'm a fan of. So I hope you'll be able to learn about some of my favorites, and even try them. The PlayStation 2 was my first console as a kid, and one of the earliest games that I remember playing on the console was Metropolismania 2. It was developed by Indie Software, and it's a Japanese-styled city builder. It is the second installment in a 4-game series. The first 2 games were released on the PlayStation 2 internationally, while the latter 2 were released on future consoles only in Japan. The main goal of Metropolismania 2 is to build a city that meets the requirements given to you. There are multiple stages you have to complete in the core game, and they vary in the requirements you must satisfy. Each stage will force you to go to a new map with an empty landscape to start a new city. The requirements may include the city reaching a given population, or having a certain percentage of a type of building in the city. When all requirements are satisfied, you'll be able to either continue growing your city or continue on to the next stage. Now, building is a bit different in this game compared to most city builders. In Metropolismania, you are limited on what type of buildings you can build by an email system. The email system stores emails of people that want to move into your city, and each email will contain the type of building the new resident wants to build in your city. These emails will naturally appear while playing the game, but you can get these emails with a few other methods, especially if you want to get a certain type of building. The other main goal of Metropolismania is to build relationships with your residents. You're able to talk to each resident in your city and listen to their pretty simple dialogue. But the reason to talk to your residents is to listen to their complaints about the city, and to have your residents introduce you to new people that want to move into your city. Complaints are the main source of trouble you will encounter in this game. They are important to listen to because they will show you what your residents want in the city. Ignoring them will lead to residents becoming angry with you, and they will eventually leave the city. A complaint by a resident is a request for a building to be built near that resident. An example of a complaint is a residential house wanting a high school close to them for their kids to attend at. Once you solve a resident's complaint, they will call you and get a big boost in their relationship with you. Building relationships with your residents is important because you need to reach a certain relationship level with them before they will introduce you to new residents. Each resident will have their own relationship bar that you can level up. And once you reach at least acquaintance level with a resident, they will start introducing you to new residents. At this level, you're able to ask if they can solve a complaint in the city. This allows you to more easily solve complaints by asking your current acquainted residents if they know someone that can move in to solve the complaint. If they do know someone, then you can get an email to solve the complaint right away. These introductions are another way to get more residents to move into your city. Overall, you need to be smart with your building placements in order to keep all of your residents happy and complaint-free. Buildings have a limited effective range for how far they can solve complaints, and there is limited building space. So you need to plan ahead and learn about the potential complaints that certain types of buildings will have to ensure you have enough space to solve these complaints in the future. This management of complaints and organization of buildings is what really makes the game fun, all while trying to make the city look visually appealing. The gameplay systems of Metropolismania 2 might be simple, but I think they make for an addicting and a relaxing gameplay loop. Beyond the game mechanics, Metropolismania 2's visual design is one of my favorite aspects of the game. I love the design of the semi-realistic buildings, and I love the fact that there are real-world stores like Mossburger. It really does feel like you're building a city that is from Japan. I also love the integration of the residents and your character within your city. You're able to control and move your character around your city, which I feel is a really novel feature to have. You're also able to see residents go on about their day and see them go shopping or going to work. All of this really makes the city feel lived in, and it makes the game feel alive, unlike a lot of games released during this time. Metropolismania 2 was one of my main childhood games, and I played a lot of it. And it's the reason why I love city builders as a genre. It has stuck with me to this day because there really isn't anything like it in the genre. It has a lot of unique gameplay mechanics, and the Japanese setting is a really nice style for a city. I would recommend trying it if you would like a different city building experience with a Japanese style city. The video game franchise that Road Trip is part of is called Koro Q. The game series is actually based on a Japanese toy line by the same name. They're also known as penny racers in North America and were initially created in the late 1970s. The toy is a miniature toy car with a pullback motor that allows them to move. They also have a coin slot in the back of the car that allows it to perform wheelies. The designs of the cars in the Koro Q video game franchise basically emulate the designs of the real Koro Q toys. Road Trip is the second game in the Koro Q high grade subseries. There are 4 games in total in the subseries, but North America only got 3 of the 4 games. Yet the PAL region did in fact get all 4. So the goal of Road Trip is to become president. President of what? I honestly have no idea. The current president just doesn't want to be president anymore. But the path to becoming president is mainly done by completing races in every city. As you complete races and get high placements, you'll earn prize money. You'll need to use that money to upgrade your car to stay competitive in future races. The tracks greatly vary in design, and some of them will have gimmicks that require you to use certain parts. If you have the right parts, then races shouldn't be that difficult. The computer racers aren't that difficult to beat and are kinda dumb. The world of Road Trip is actually an open world, but it's pretty barren and empty. There are 9 main cities within the game and a few other buildings scattered across the map. A majority of the world is linked together on a singular road, but a few locations are out of the way. In each city, you will find Q's factories. Q's factories are your main base of operations in each city. You're able to participate at the current city's race and modify your car's parts. These factories are also your main way of fast travel, as every Q's factories is a fast travel location. Other important buildings in each city include different types of shops and minigame buildings. Part shops will sell you new car parts that improve your car's performance. Body shops will sell car bodies that change how your car visually looks, and paint shops will allow you to repaint your car. Minigame locations will have a unique minigame that you can play. These minigames will range from basic races to a casino roulette to even a soccer minigame that predates Rocket League. These are fun side attractions that greatly vary in quality, but they can be a nice break from the main game. While exploring the world and its cities, you'll see NPCs roaming around and parked inside some of the buildings. You can cause a car accident with the roaming NPCs to talk with them. Sometimes they will only provide information, other times they can provide useful items. Some NPCs are even tied to side quests that you can complete for rewards. An important gameplay mechanic that NPCs have is that some of them will want to join your racing team. In races and some team-based minigames, you'll have teammates that can help you. If your teammates place highly in a race, then you'll get their prize money on top of your own. You're able to customize the car parts of your teammates in order to improve their performance in races, but they are still controlled by the computer, so they can still fail due to their AI. The other big part of Road Trip is stamp collecting. Stamps function like an in-game achievement system for completing certain tasks, minigames, and quest lines. There are 100 stamps in total, and collecting them all rewards you with the best car parts in the game. Stamps basically cover all aspects of the game, and therefore is the 100% checklist of Road Trip. Road Trip is a fairly short game, but it's one that I'm fairly nostalgic for. It was probably the first game that I played that had an open world. Even though the open world barely had anything in it, as a kid I enjoyed having the freedom to drive anywhere I wanted. I also love listening to the in-game radio since it was always on when you were exploring the world. I definitely have listened to the songs from that radio for many hours. Even now when I hear them, I feel like I've been transported back in time to when I played this game as a kid. Road Trip was the reason I even got into the racing genre of video games as a kid. Although I don't really play racing games nowadays, it was generally one of my favorite genres throughout my childhood years. I do recommend trying Road Trip or any other Korokyu high-grade game because of how unique of a racing game it is. Even though the driving physics might not be the best, I still think the open world and the light RPG mechanics are pretty cool. Graal Online is probably my most played game of all time. I have at least 11,000 hours across all servers and started playing it 15 years ago in 2011. It is a 2D Zelda style MMO owned by ToonzLab, and it's mostly developed and supported by volunteers. It might sound a bit odd that an MMO is developed by volunteers, but we'll get to that later. Graal Online initially came out in 1998 under the name Zelda Online. Zelda Online was initially based on the game The Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past, as many of the assets were from that game, and the general gameplay was similar to a 2D Zelda. Zelda Online's name was quickly forced to be changed to a new name for obvious reasons, and that was Graal Online. The big appeal of Graal Online was that you could host your own custom server. You were able to pay a fee to host a server and do whatever you wanted on it. You could create graphics, animations, levels, and scripts in Graal's own scripting language called G-Script. This allowed the creation of many of the modern day Graal servers today. There were many types of servers, like a Western server called Old West to a gangster or GTA-like server called Era. During this period from the rename to Graal Online and up to 2009, a PC client called Graal Player Worlds was used to play on the many different servers. Many servers during this time were created and many servers died, but the game overall was still very niche. Yet, Graal would gain new relative popularity with the introduction of the iPhone and its App Store. During December of 2009, Graal Online would publish a new server for mobile called Graal Online Classic. Classic was based on a player-world server called Graal the Adventure, which is the original Graal server that is inspired by A Link to the Past. This would start the period of the modern Graal Online servers, where most people would start playing Graal. I would start playing Graal Online during the year of 2011, after the second generation iPad came out that year. At that point, Graal had already released a second mobile server during 2010 called Graal Era, another server based off a player-world server by the same name. They also would release two more mobile servers called Zone and Old West, which were released in 2012 and 2014 respectively. Similar to many people playing MMOs during this time, and before this time, the joy of playing Graal was socializing. It was a great place to make online friends, even if some of the people in the game weren't the greatest. But that comes with the territory with most online games. Even to this day, some of my longest current standing friendships originate from Graal. Graal also has some good features to facilitate socializing by having a guild system in every server and gameplay systems associated with guilds. For example, in every modern Graal server, you are able to take territory with your guild. In Classic, the territories are called towers, and you're able to take and defend these towers for long periods of times to gain hours for the guild. Hours would allow you to get guild rewards like hats and, depending on the server, also mounts and weapons. Typically, these rewards were made by your own guild to allow you to have your own custom items in the game. A key part of Graal was the customization for your characters, since it also allowed you to upload your own custom graphics. Generally, for most servers, you could upload custom heads, bodies, and shields. As long as you followed the rules, you could create whatever you wanted for your character. This allowed for a great variance in fashion and looks for the game, and allowed you to have your own identity, which I really liked. Gameplay mechanics and progression greatly varies between servers, since servers could be customized in any way. Some, like Classic, focus on the social aspect of the game, while others, like Era, focus on the gameplay aspect of the game. A server like Era has weapons that you could buy for many different ways, and then use them in many different ways of playing the game, like player killing and sparring. My personal favorite gameplay system in these games were events, mini games that you can compete in with other players to win an event currency. I personally enjoyed getting better at these events, especially since they often made you play the game in unique ways. They were a good way to get good items in the servers and let you avoid grinding the normal currency. All of Graal's modern servers continue to get updated or supported by a staff team that primarily consists of volunteers. Volunteers are hired through an application sent out by the staff team when they need hiring. Many of these roles they hire for are to produce content for the server like graphics, animation, levels, and more, but they also hire for moderation roles. So in a lot of ways, Graal really is a community-run game besides the very top of it where a company owns it. I have many memories with this game and played it at least semi-actively over the course of about a decade. It's hard to say if I recommend Graal in this day and age, especially since there has been a player decline over the last several years. This is one game that I'm thinking about making an expanded standalone video about, but we'll see how I feel about it in the future.